we have so many ways oftentimes of how we're supposed to show up in the world, and um, all the things that we want, right? We want it to look the specific way, but I am learning in life that sometimes that way isn't the way that it's supposed to look for you. And a lot of times we look at everybody else's life and we want to be so unique, we want to be so different, but yet we sit there and we look at somebody else's life and we want that exact image, right? We want it to look exactly like that person's life, but we don't know the step that God has put for them to take. We don't know what that life comes with. We don't know what that life entails, right? And we are not directing and being in our path the way that God wants us to be. And I am learning that just even through today, I just watched a video and this video was so powerful, just a little snippet of a video. And it was just talking about just relationships and how we see them, and how sometimes we get somebody and we want them to fit in our fairy tale, right? We want them to fit the way that we want them to fit. You look like this and I want you to be like this. I don't want to accept you for who you truly are. So when you don't act the way that I think that you should act, I start to resent you. I start to, just not want to be in a relationship, and I start to just despise the person who you are, who you always were. I started to despise that person because you could not basically fit the mold that I wanted you to fit. And this goes back into just, you can only change you. You can only change you. And when you try to force somebody to change, when you try to force somebody to fit a mold that they were never meant to fit, it just causes so much just resentment and hatred towards that person. And that's when you start to just hate that person and start to manifest more and more toxicity and just drama and just hate in that relationship due to them not fitting in this fairy tale and this idea of that person who you wanted them to be. There's a difference between seeing the potential and seeing that they have the potential to be this beautiful being, and seeing that and wanting that person to be the best version of themselves and seeing the best version of them, but to still allow them the journey to go on that route. I know with me, I know that my journey has not been this journey that was an easy, just rainbow butterfly journey. It was not always that journey. It was not always a journey that was so just beautiful and abundant and happy all the time. It was not that journey. So to see somebody else on this journey, and I get to have them in my life and show them the grace and let them know that, like, hey, this journey is a journey. It will lead you down a path. Like, it will take you there. But to be able to see somebody in that and be able to be that light for them while they go through this journey is something that I don't take for granted. But I was asking, a specific way by looking at my peers, by looking at just, social media, and just looking out into the world of what I thought that teaching and leading and helping has to look like this. It has to be in this way. But sometimes just helping is offering a prayer. Sometimes is, offering an encouraging word, being at the right place at the right time for somebody in need to just literally just lean on you, and to just have somebody who's been where they have been, to just know that it is a bright side at the end of that tunnel, that it is worth the wait, that it is worth the fight, that it is just worth it, that they will get better, that life will get better. And I was learning that it is so much grace in that process, and just having grace with other people in that process allows me to have more grace with myself. And I'm like, darn, I wish I would have had more grace with myself in this process. So I'm going to give somebody else the grace in this process, because this is not an easy process to change your whole life around. I don't know why we think that it's just so easy, that everybody just clicks, watch one video, and the next day I'm like, I done changed my life after being broken, homeless, in toxic relationships, and struggled and being addicted to drugs and like all of this stuff. Like, you did all of that, and then the next day he was like, I just let it all go and I just became this. Well, not everybody is like that. Not everybody is like that. It doesn't mean that they're not strong. It just means that their journey is different, and God has a different calling for them, that God wants them to learn something different. For you, you got it. Yeah, you did it, and hooray. But for other people, it was not that easy. It was not that easy to just go after your dreams after stumbling and falling 12 million times. It wasn't that easy to say, you know what, I was in this one depressive episode, and now, you know what, I got it. I'm going to go after the life, and now I'm an abundant content creator, and I get the. It's not that easy. I'm the CEO of this company. I am an entrepreneur. I did the. It's not always that easy. It is not always that easy for everybody. And so what I am learning now is how to allow people to enter my life and be the educator. Because so many times I have seen someone and I have this idea of them, of what I want them to be. Be mindful of that, of what I wanted them to be. And when they didn't fit that mold, because I'm looking out into social media and I'm looking at how they're supposed to treat me and how it's supposed to be, instead of being there and being that shoulder to cry on, or being that helping hand. And it's not saying to loosen up your boundaries, but what are you asking to be in life? Are you asking to be an educator? Are you asking to be a motivational speaker? Well, how about I send you somebody who needs that? You want it on such a bigger platform, but I sent somebody in your life who needs you to speak encouraging words. I sent somebody in your life. I sent these circumstances in your life for you to show up and show out, to be the best high vibrational version of yourself, and yet you are trying to make them be who you want them to be. I sent that relationship your way to not only for them to learn, but for you to learn patience, for you to learn kindness, for you to learn love, how to give it and how to receive it, how to teach somebody how to be love, how to teach somebody how to be light. I sent this. And you're sitting there trying to mold them to be this version of themselves that they were maybe not supposed to be. Maybe you don't need that version of them because you still are not the version of you that can even accept that type of person, that you still won't even honor that. Maybe your journey is to help grow somebody. Maybe that is what you have. You're asking to be this teacher, you're asking to be this leader, but you got sent somebody in your life and you're not being there for them. You're not teaching them. You're not leading them. You're not doing any of that. You're judging them. You're picking on them. You're doing all of these things. So it was just, in that video, I was really understanding that maybe, I get sent these people to show and just to be that grace. But once again, because a lot of times we get so attached to, if it looks like this, it has to be this, it has to be this. But we sabotage a lot of things by putting people in categories and making people be, fit to our world. And, now because we have this idea of manifestation, we have these things now that we have access to. We're like, okay, yeah, now we can kind of like manipulate the laws, because then we can make them work in our favor to make it, instead of just playing the game how you're supposed to play it. You can still manifest. You can still believe and act as if, but you can also learn the lessons and allow people to heal. Allow people to come into your presence because you have a healing light. And understand that, you came into my life because I am a healer. And I'm saying I want to be a healer. I'm saying that I want to work with God to be able to alchemize energy and to be able to uplift and empower people and to bring people back to that kingdom within, back to that love within, back to the trueness of who God is, back to that. And you're not doing it because you wanted that man to be your husband, and now you trying to fit him into this fairy tale of who he should be. While he needs grace, he's never been shown how to love. And maybe he needs you because you are filled with so much love. Maybe she needs you because you are filled with so much love. And it's not saying to the detriment of you, because God is not going to send something that is going to destroy you. It is not meant to destroy you. So be love, be light, be kindness, and allow people to be people and love them in return. And if you just don't allow align with that person, let it go. Let it flow. Let it flow out. Take the lessons because they're all blessings. And everything that is meant for you will always be. So even that relationship that you think ain't teaching you nothing because that man or that woman ain't loving you the way that you want to be loved, allow yourself to understand that maybe this ain't my story. Maybe this is just meant for me to be a kind and loving person. And as long as this is not a detriment to me, because a lot of times we make it detrimental to us because we are so in our head about what it should be, and it doesn't look that way. So now it is, you don't love me that way, then he don't even know how to love himself. He's never been taught how to love himself. He's not even in touch with his emotions. So he don't even understand it. And maybe because you understand it, because you have that education, maybe you're the educator. We want so many times when people meet us that, you know what, no, you could do like the same thing I did. I went out and I educated myself and I looked at these books. Maybe you're the person with the book. Maybe you're the person with the book. Maybe that person came to you because you got the book and you need to share that book. Maybe you are the book. Maybe that's why they came to you. So allow yourself to be the teacher because you want to be the teacher. You want to be the educator. You want to be all of this. They're coming to you for this information and you're sitting there and you telling them to go look that way. You're sitting there judging them. Show them grace. Because if they're trying, show them grace. Be that unconditional love that you should have received. Maybe you didn't and maybe you did. But be that unconditional love that God gives you each and every day. That every time that you make a mistake, you are forgiven. Once again, if it is not detrimental to you, now I'm not saying, because some people will sit here and argue with that, if it ain't detrimental to you, allow it to teach you and allow yourself to be humble enough to trust that God is leading you in this direction for a reason and just be what God has you to be, and that is love and light. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.